Oseo,
Oseo.
wave the great feather. Hey, 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 hey. Starting out, this is the month of June, and in the second week of June, in Northern California, is the bear dance. And on these talks that I've been doing year after year, I will, at this time, coordinate my talks of the bear dance, which occasionally I've been to. And this time, which will be next weekend, I will be at the bear dance instead of here. And so that's what I'm coordinating here. And so my theme today is not the bear dance, but the bear woman and the bear mother. So we can go up here and look at my painting. It's my centerpiece. Now I got this painting out in order to hang it here, but in the meantime I had set it there on the floor next to our TV, which is at the same height like that. And we were watching this a couple of days ago, watching a film on KPBS of the wild animals of Mexico, in particular the bears. And so there was featured the mother bear with her cubs. And this one scene, she stands up, and I said, look at there. My painting right alongside of her. Definitely went together with that. So here to introduce a word, come over here to this. This word here is what's governing the themes in my talk today, starting with my painting. Preterite. It's a verb tense for something that happened in the past, even long ago, an event or something that happened in the past. But it has no durational limit on it. So even though it happened in the past, it is still happening. So that's what this word means. And that's what I have going on here. So back to my painting here, that's the kind of idea that I have here in doing this painting, so that I've situated this rather silhouette, we would call it, mother bear in a cave. It's a cave light here. And so that's, very, very relevant for this theme, mother bear here. And I'm going to start off with a piece for that I'm going to read, where I put my glasses on. I've collected this quite a while ago. I don't really remember who it was that I collected it from. But anyway, bear, bear that I am, at the cliff coming through the mountain, I hold my head up greatly. Bear, bear that I am. They say that I have green mountains. They say I went into the river. Bear, bear that I am. When the sun rises, I travel about. My mind shakes as I go about. Bear, bear that I am. You came to me. You came walking, hey! You came walking to me, calling me mother, as to no other. To me, my child, who is a chief's child, came walking, calling me mother, mother of noble family. Bear, bear that I am, calling me mother, as to no other. Bear, bear that I am. Oh. So that you can see how that we can have that going here, and you drop down below it, and I have this fantastic, wonderful carving, mask-like carving of a bear woman and bear. So I have some other figures here. Let me come all the way down here to this figure here. This is a wonderful carving, pretty hard wood. It's from Zuni. Zuni is a name that Americans have given some people there. They live pretty much on the New Mexico side of the East Arizona border here. Their name actually is Achui. Achui, as the Egyptians have known them, means the travelers. Who they are Berbers. They are Berbers from North Africa. Their language, and it has been recognized and studied, is Hamitic or Libyan. That's where they are from. They also know themselves as the Cabal. The Cabal is the plural for the Cabeli. And who is that? That is the goddess, mainly of the Eastern Mediterranean, named Cabal. Cabal is a great goddess, and that these people are followers of her. Also, their name Berber is actually Arabic Babara. Babara means sons of the bear, which also means the bear constellation. And at this time, at the beginning of summer, that we call the Big Dipper, that's the bear constellation, the tail of the bear is pointing southward, is pointing down. So that's where we are in reference to the constellation. Cabal is also like the goddess of nature and herbs and things like that. She can also be called Ku. So when the Spaniards invaded the southwest, mainly Coronado, he was on the track of the Berbers who had left Spain with gold, they thought, like that, and that is really who he was pursuing. And he attacked a pueblo there, and the name of that pueblo is Hawiku. And Hawiku means that this is the house of the goddess. Ku is also another name for Cabal. So that's also who she is here. And that also over here, if you look over here, this is a black rock I put here. And this is to stand for, to symbolize the black rock was the way that she was figured. She was figured as a black rock. I should also say her name Cabal means cave dweller. In other words, she's a bear. And the black rock was even enshrined in Rome and so forth. The Arabs evidently had picked this up, and if you know anything of Islam, the Kaaba. The Kaaba is really the same thing. There's a black stone inside of this square cube building with a black drape over it. That is also the goddess's stone. That's what it is. It seems to have also have the suggestion in the stone itself of a yoni. And what's happened is the Arabs have masculinized this and so forth. But I am presenting it here as part of this bear theme here. So here the Zuni are very much known for making fetishes out of turquoise and other stones in the shape of the bear. This one is really, really good. And here you also have a bear-headed pipe here, to see that. And up here, I want to show you this piece here. This is a natural stone that's formed like a bear. And here, I'm not sure if the Zuni carved this, but this seems to be carved out of onyx, so I put it here. You can see the same shape. This stone is found in the vicinity of Pyramid Lake in Nevada, and the lake that's parallel to it is called Winnemucca. Winnemucca is an Arabic name meaning one shoe, one moccasin, I should say, one moccasin. And so this is, from that vicinity. Also, it is the site of I'll call it a temple of the goddess Laima, and is probably the biggest sanctuary in North America. That's all abundantly carved with petroglyphs that pertain to a very ancient culture there in Nevada. So we have all of that. Now, what I'm particularly interested in doing here is to introduce another aspect of the bear mother. It's evident to me that the culture of the bear woman or bear mother is extremely ancient. And Maria Gambudis, in her Gods and Goddesses of old Europe, has, as an archaeologist, has found a lot of information about this. It goes back many, many thousands of years. And particularly, the bear is a mother who is often figured nursing. So that's very, very relevant. She's a nurse. She's a mother. The word nurse, its etymology also comes from suckle, to suckle. And that is very, very relevant here. And I just want to show you this little clay figure here. It's not an old one, but it's reminiscent of the kind of figures that have been found in abundance of several thousand years ago throughout that Eastern European area. It goes all the way from what we're going to call where Ireland is, England, all the way east to where we'll say where Russia is, or the Caspian Sea. Eventually, all of that culture was invaded, much similar to how the Russians are invading Ukraine today. So that had once happened long ago. Anyway, that's why I have this little figure here, for that. So all this way that we can introduce this aspect of the bear woman, as being very fundamental, I guess, in woman. Woman, as all mammals, has a womb, that bears offspring. So to try and say she also has a spiritual womb. A few weeks ago I presented, the perceiving womb. There's another aspect, to woman. Now, Coyote's function is to liberate woman to her animal instincts. And that animal takes the place in a woman as this bear. In India, the Muladhara chakra is a conception of the rise of the serpent from the base chakra. Mula means base, or root, or origin. So the Muladhara is also saying a cave, a cavern, something to that effect. And that's where the bear is hibernating. That's where the bear is sleeping. You get all of that. So the awakening of the bear is the transformation of woman to her animal instincts. And I find that the key to that is that she's a nurse, so you can put all together what that suggests to you. In this story, what we're saying, we're going way, way back. And we're saying there was this young woman, and she was very lovely. She was very beautiful, and she despised men. She had nothing to do with them. But she was, so attractive, of course. Many guys, definitely, tried, to make a play for her, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. But then along come Coyote. And Coyote, no matter what test that she gave to him, he could do it. He could do it, no matter what. Until finally, she had to settle with him. And so they did. They coupled together. And she became, and Coyote became mates. They became mates. Now her name in Navajo is Chikishashnadlehe. That means the maiden who changes into a bear. That's what's taking place here in this. So as they got together, as they coupled, they learned each other's deepest secrets. Now in Navajo, the Navajo culture, it's all about balance and sickness and diseases and how to deal with them, basically that way. And so whether they want to call them energies or spirits, they now have a considerable complex system, I would call it, sand paintings and impersonators and a lot of things that go into persuading these energies or these spirits, to come into play to bring about a balance. But as far as being persuadable, two of them are not persuadable, and that is changing Bear, Maiden, and Coyote. They are not available to anybody like that. So that's very considerable as to how they are and how this preterite still plays a part in the transformation of woman here. So it's hard to grasp all this in a modern time, but eventually this maiden, she begins to transform. She begins to transform into a bear. And I have this drawings. This is my drawing over here, where she is in the process, I would call it, of changing. She's changing. She's changing into a bear. Hair starts, growing over her fingernails grow into claws, and so forth, until eventually she's all covered with hair, like an animal, but except for her breast. Her breast remain without any hair on it. So that's, pretty relevant in the story as to how woman relates to this bear of herself. And the best word I have, is nursing here. So that's very much what I have here in my drawing to illustrate that. And along with that, I'm going to have this painting here. This is Claudia's painting of a transformation going on between her and a bear. Now, I'm having to say, candidly, Claudia is a medicine woman, and her medicine has come from the bear. She has had encounters, experiences, and dreams, all that definitely qualify her as a medicine woman of the bear. We can say that, and this painting of hers, is very, very much illustrating transformation of the bear, or the woman into the bear. And from that, I wanted to just show you here this figure here. This is from Polynesia, probably Hawaii. And what I'm doing here, these are tikis. These are tikis. And tiki is a Polynesian word for ancestors. The basic culture of Hawaii and the Polynesians has actually come from Libya. Very interesting. And so there are Libyan names, in the Hawaiian culture. And here I'm presenting these pair of tikis as this is Coyote and his mate, changing bear, maiden, along with this idea of ancestry and along with this idea of the preterite, meaning that which happened long ago is still happening here. And I want to take you over here to this delightful wood carving here of a bear that looks very feminine. And I'd like to be suggesting we're looking at that woman inside of the bear. Maiden is a very, very young female person. Chike, that's what it means. So, she's, we would say, a young girl, an adolescent girl. And so she very much looks like that. And what I have put in here, she's holding a bundle of white sage. Now in the bear dance that I'm going to, there's also sage. It's a different kind of sage. It's called Artemisa. And that's to go with Artemis. So it's evident now Artemis in the Mediterranean is also the bear. And in the ancient times, women, girls again, were initiated into her culture as little bears. And all this is known. So Artemis, also Rhea is another name for her in the Mediterranean. She is definitely a bear and all about bears. At the bear dance, only the Artemisia figures in that relation, because the Artemisia named after Artemis was also the herb used in the rituals and so forth in the Mediterranean. I don't have any of that kind of sage around here, so I have given her a bundle of white sage to hold. So that's very much of what we can see there. So the bear mother, the bear woman, has figured strongly and throughout the Mediterranean from remotest times here. And that's what Coyote is here to generate, to bring back to the fore. Only here in Native America, as far as I know, has any remnant of her culture of the bear survive and continue. Even though in India, there's goddesses for everything, but I have not found a goddess for the bear in India, nor have I even found her in close by Mexico. So she still is here in Turtle Island, and I, Coyote, am here also with her and for her. Now I'm going to read a piece here to bring this all together. I think it's very, very appropriate here. This is a poem by Wendy Rose. You know, she's Miwok and Hopi, she says. And her poem here, actually titled Feo Mujer, Ugly Woman. And that's what this poem is about. Soft tan bark, cedar dark falls hesitant to your slightest step. Gray mountains hitch their withers, lift hay with tusk-guarded trunks. Your veil slips across your wide brown face, flattened from the momentum of a secret wind. Ecru, lace, and linen betray a Neanderthal form, sculpting you back to an ancient cave, to the very tops of jungle trees, and sending you, tooth by tooth, to a different beauty than the click of pennies and dimes. With manicured fingers you touch the veil, but do not think it will be lifted tonight, for you remember, as among the villagers, how your words, sweet as the yellow canary, turned to blood-sucking growls as they heard them. You would sing, and they would spit, and they would take you to their killing jar, away from the safe stones in the wilderness, because you pinned them to their deepest fears, reflecting them from your salmon eyes. You were a rain bringer, a healer, and you watched other girls dance while life danced away from you, like the teased by the promise to not be alone. Beauty twisted within and pushed your pain against you to be nailed like a wolf pelt on your bones. They called you the ugliest woman in the world, the woman with a face like a bear, the woman whose long fur swirled like a shawl around her in a land where even the wolves run naked. I call you the most beautiful she-bear, the highest flying canary, the most ancient song, the most faithful magic. I call you my mother and my sister and my daughter and me. Oh.